What's up, guys? So I've been thinking about Toby Fox's Deltarune and where its story might go. Now, this isn't anything super in-depth, with zero inconsistencies, but it's what I think could happen, and admittedly, it's also what I would like to see happen. There's gonna be 3 parts: what might happen, why it might happen, and how it could happen. So let's begin. First of all, the next couple chapters probably won't matter too much. I think they're gonna be filler, they're gonna be full of memes and randomness and just fun stuff, kind of like chapter 2 was, because as far as I know, chapters 3, 4, and 5 are all supposed to be released all at once. So what I think might happen is a big plot twist at the end of chapter 5. Otherwise, why not just release the full game instead, right? And that plot twist might be the Roaring. The Roaring is actually gonna happen. It's gonna be this massive event. It's gonna change the entire game. It's also gonna be a major shift in tone. I mean, it's basically gonna be the end of the world. And there's gonna be just a ton of opportunity for fan theories. It could sustain the community potentially for years, if necessary. However long the next chapters are gonna take until they're released, and all of the remaining chapters are gonna take place in that new world. Because with the Roaring being foreshadowed and introduced to us, I think there's a high chance it's gonna happen. Because it would be kinda weird if not. Like Ralsei, maybe Ralsei's just wrong, maybe Ralsei was just being silly, but that's my main expectation. The Roaring will begin the entire endgame, and it's gonna lead into the finale. But now the question becomes, why would it happen? Why would the world actually end? And this is where it maybe gets a little wild, because my answer is Gaster. Yes, I think it's all gonna be connected to WD Gaster. Because honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest here, if Gaster is not involved and all the secrets, all of the hints, all of the connections to him just amount to absolutely nothing, I think it would be disappointing, I have to say. And furthermore, why make Deltarune pretty much another Undertale if it's not for a specific reason? Why do we have the same characters, the same gameplay, kind of the same world building? It's essentially the same game, right? Is that just for popularity? Just to make Undertale fans play Deltarune? I don't think so. I think there should be an actual reason. And in addition, going a little deeper here, I think that you, as the player, are actually a Gaster follower. Gaster, as the narrator in the intro, sent you on a mission to possess Chris and make Gaster's plan come to fruition. And then another idea, and this might be controversial, because even I used to be very, very much against it, but hear me out. What if Ralsei is the second Gaster follower? Because Ralsei is super sus. Ralsei knows so much, knows pretty much everything. He controls the entire narrative. He always tells us what to do and what is right. And he might be a follower who simply took the vessel of a Darkner that looks like Azrael, just, in order to make Chris trust him more. Chris, of course, it's still a little suspicious, but I think it's still working. And then together, you and Ralsei, the 2 followers, need to make the Roaring happen. So now you may ask, why close the fountains? Maybe there's just a natural connection between the light and the dark world for balance between the 2 sides. And if all of those natural openings are somehow closed, all of the dark energy gets bottled up inside, it might burst, and then eventually cover the light world with darkness, which is the Roaring. Gaster is the Roaring Knight. He is the one that pulls the strings. All of the connections, all of the secrets, they do actually all lead back to him. Maybe he is the one who creates all of the dark worlds, and then through manipulation tries to bring about the calamity by sealing the fountains. And since this theory assumes that Deltarune is connected to Undertale, I think it's an alternate timeline or an alternate universe. Gaster, who was lost across time and space, somehow reached this universe, and now his goal is to return to his original world, and in order to do that, he needs a massive amount of power. Power that would be generated by the Roaring, flooding the entire world with darkness, making it get darker, yet darker, photon readings negative. His next experiment seems very interesting. What do you two think? And you two, of course, being you the player, and then Ralsei, the two followers. And he attempted this with the Darkness, the secret bosses, you know, Jevil, Spamton, and all of the future ones, driving them to insanity. He attempted it with Des, Noelle's sister, causing her disappearance, and now he's trying to do it with Chris. And that is the main thing that I thought of. Now here's a couple details how it could happen exactly. At the end of chapter 5, Ralsei reveals his identity and his ultimate goal. Would he mention Gaster, or is he only gonna keep it very simple? Who knows? But then the roaring happens, the party feels betrayed, is horrified by their actions, of course. But during the events of the game, Ralsei did end up developing real feelings for all his friends. He's not just some crazy evil villain, he is Ralsei still, fluffy boy, so he might make one final sacrifice where he tries to hold back the roaring, for a short amount of time at least, just enough time to allow Chris and Susie and whoever else might be in the party at that point to escape. But by doing this, he gets the full force of the calamity of the roaring when he can't hold it back any longer and Ralsei dies. It would be a huge cliffhanger. It would kind of be like the lowest point in the story. You know, the world pretty much ended. Ralsei betrayed you, Ralsei died, and from there, slowly, things would start to build up again. In chapter 6, you explore the ruined world, you search for survivors, and you find Azriel as the first one, the real Azriel, and he will replace Ralsei as the new party member, and then maybe you can find Toriel, Asgore, maybe Noelle, maybe even Des. Maybe Des somehow returned after the roaring happened. Maybe you can even go as far as to say Noelle died, and then Des replaces her as the party member. I don't know, you know how dark it's gonna get, who knows at this point. But there's gonna be enemies roaming the entire world. Maybe it's gonna be void creatures, kind of connected to Gaster. Of course, there's gonna be the Titans. And finally, this is the last idea that I have. Eventually, it will lead to two different endings. Ending number 1 is just gonna be the normal ending. Like Ralsei, your own loyalty to Gaster will falter, and you will decide to fully work together with Chris for once. You're gonna stop Gaster, you're gonna save the world, and possibly even undo the roaring. Because to be honest, being responsible for pretty much the end of the world is kind of a downer, you know. No matter what you do, you kinda cost something so irredeemable. So maybe a happy ending there is gonna be better. And then ending number 2 is gonna be Snowgrave. This is the route where your loyalty never once falters. You treat the characters like puppets, like pawns, you toy with them, you tell them to proceed, basically you don't care about them. And then you actually stop Chris and you allow Gaster to do his thing, to accomplish his mission. Which, hey, to be fair, might be a happy ending for all the Gaster fans out there. You can actually, you know, be the loyal servant for Gaster. And is the final boss gonna be Gaster himself? Is it gonna be a Titan or all of the Titans? Will there maybe be a boss fight against Chris and the party in the Snowgrave route? Maybe. I mean, it all sounds pretty cool. Anything like that, I think, would be pretty awesome. But that is where my theory ends. All of this was what I think might happen, and also why it could happen and how. Now, again, there might be contradictions. It's not perfectly thought through, but I think it could be interesting. And you know, having Gaster be involved would be really, really hype. But anyway, feel free to tell me what you think and whether you have any theories or expectations of your own for Deltarune. Thanks for listening, and until next time, take care.